Okay, so today's question is, what is one tool you should be learning right now? And I think, Danielle, this is a really great one because you've been telling me all about learning clay. And so I would love to hear why we should be learning clay, and then we can kind of meander into other tools that maybe we should be considering.
So I've been hearing a lot of marketing ops professionals talking about clay for months. And back around November, I started going in there playing, went through the university, started running some queries myself. I just think it's such an interesting, powerful tool when it comes to data enrichment along those lines. And as a person who actually purchased data cleansing tools, I realized that three or four of those subscriptions would have been covered by this one specific tool because of how federated the data is, how many different data sources are actually feeding into this. It has so many interesting things, such as the built by information. So, you know what tools and software these companies or these individuals are faced with. You have information about what jobs are open or changing. So, people
Oh,
changing
wow.
jobs, that's a really cool function there. And I know there's more. So, a very cool thing about Clay is they also offer cohorts, which are a step up from a traditional education program. They're going to invite you into a small group. It's an intense learning period, and they're going to actually give you projects to work on and to build within Clay. So, they will give you a set of credits and they will let you execute on the requested project. I am currently waiting to see if I can get into one of these cohorts because the next piece of this is then also doing more automation. So if you find that ideal customer and you see that they've been posting a lot on LinkedIn, it's able to help craft an SDR message and automate that send. So there is more to this tool. It's a very huge and impactful tool. It pulls website intent in as well. So the opportunities here are pretty big. It's something you do have to learn and spend time on, and the credits can go quickly. So knowing exactly the project you're executing on will be important. So I do think this tool is huge because of the need for data and data cleansing in our current environment. So I think we've all talked about how bad our data is. I think everyone everywhere has complained that their automations don't run well. So even if we don't talk about AI, I still think it empowers and enriches our ability to execute on our automations and personalization.
Oh, that's cool. So you're saying like this is something any marketing ops person, like whether their organization's using it or not, could like take a step forward and learn. So you have, it sounds like two options. You can use the university, like the clay, like they're training, like I'm just me, I go in, I learn some stuff, but you're saying that there's this cohort thing. And it sounds like we're building a commercial for clay. We're not. What we're really trying to do is present this because I wanted to ask you about it because I'm hearing you talk about it, and it's something that I've kind of just been watching in the periphery. But like if you're a marketing ops person who's either learning to like wants to maybe level up their current job, or they're in flux with their job and they're looking for a new position, you're saying there's like cohort training. Is there a cost? Is there an like do people have to buy anything? What's it like to, what do you think it's like for an individual who's working and wants to be better at mops getting into that training?
I think it's just a high demand right now. So,
Okay.
like I said, they have cohorts all the way into April and they are all booked.
Wow.
So, there is a huge demand for folks to come in. We had a marketing ops event here in New York City, and one of the recruiters was sharing that they're looking even to start finding and sourcing people to help with consulting in this space.
Mm.
So when we think about the job market and what's changing out there, this is a tool in demand, and this is something that if people are looking for an adjustment or a change or something new to learn, the barrier to learn it is low. You don't have to be a paid customer to do it. In fact, they have a free version that I believe you get 1,200 credits off the bat for
Okay.
the account every year. So they are encouraging people to learn it and to help advise other clients, enterprise clients, on how to use it. So this is a great tool to educate yourself on at this time.
Okay. So I think that the part about having a low barrier to entry is really important because so many tools, and I think Marketo is a great example. It's very hard to learn Marketo unless you work at a place that has Marketo. HubSpot's a little bit easier. They have a pretty user friendly university, and there's also lower price points. So, like, I use HubSpot as a sole proprietor, and then I help people who use HubSpot at the enterprise level, but they have varying things. So, you can get familiar with HubSpot. I think we all need to be expanding our our technical skills, but also expanding how all these tools work together. So knowing that there's something like Clay that we should probably be investing in, um, learning is like one step of what we should be doing. It sounds like, in addition, it's not just learning Clay; it's kind of keeping your brain open to learning these new tools in intelligent ways.
I do think it's a lot about learning. So, like, one of the reasons I was drawn to this space was because things change all the time. I'm not doing the same work every day, year over year, month over month. Like, it's a new
Right.
challenge, there's a new fire I'm putting out. How cool. But that also requires me to go out and learn how to address those all the time. So, what I did on a Marketo instance 8 years ago versus what I would do now, and would I even use that tool, is a totally different question. So, I think the only people that's going to invest in you is probably yourself. Like, you should definitely be, and it's also true, like, the biggest advocate for anybody is going to always be yourself. So, if you want to keep growing and learning, then it's on you to take the time to learn, to educate. There's definitely a lot of tools that are offering low entries to learning their tools. There's a lot of certification programs out there that you can go take that gives you a certification, be it revenue operations, be it marketing operations. There are even educational classes that you could take one off of. There's the Maven track you can go down. There is LinkedIn learning tracks you can go down. So, do you think at this time it's worth diving into things that are uncomfortable and learning them?
Yeah, I think like we talked about, like I think if you're kind of like, if you're not growing and learning, you're kind of dying. And in order to like stay current, nobody really knows where we're going. And if you think about it, it's because we don't know where we're going. It's up to everybody around us to kind of build that path. And if you want to be a part of like building this path where we go in business and society, and for individuals, that idea of like we need to constantly be learning, we need to be taking kind of like old school ideas, communication, critical thinking. Those are all things that you learned in kindergarten, or you started learning in kindergarten, but they're still those those values and those principles are a part of what we're doing with this technology. And so we have to be finding ways to learn this new technology and bring those values in the right way to kind of move this forward. And I think knowing that now, like I've got a lot of friends who are kind of in flux with their jobs. Unfortunately, some layoffs, some people choosing to go out on their own. Companies are restructuring. All sorts of stuff is happening. It's going to be the people that are agile and keep learning that are going to be the most valuable to any company.
Absolutely. I also don't think the people running or in those leadership positions know what they need next. So,
Right.
the more you know, the better positioned you will be.
Yeah. You can be like an asset to that team when everything's confusing, instead of being like someone saying like, wait, what's next? You want to be one who's like, hey, here's an idea of what's next. I can help with this part.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. I'll go check out Clay, and we'll come back too, because I think we have more things we could talk about where you could learn. But I think this is a good place to stop about Clay today.
Awesome.